ESMO SIOG working group is a group that was founded in 2019, and we've been working very closely for 5 years now. We decided to specifically focus on this unmet need around clinical trials in older patients because for decades now, older patients have been excluded from clinical trials, although they represent almost 50% of the new cases of cancer. And we know now that only 20% of these populations are actually included in clinical trials, and it also decreases with increasing age, reaching 10% or less than 10% over 75 years old. The group was founded in 2019 and is led now by Dr. Etienne Brun and Dr. Laura Bigonzoli. On this specific topic, we decided to include different specialties from medical oncologists to geriatricians. It also included surgeons, methodologists, statisticians, and we wanted also to include patient representatives because this is the really aim is to focus and to be patient-centered on these designs and clinical trials endpoints. We cover actually 3 main topics. First, we focus on the barriers to participations of older adults in clinical trials. This has been studied extensively, but we wanted to put it in perspective with the new designs and the new trend in clinical trials design. The second part was specifically on clinical trial design and endpoints, because we know that older adults don't have the same priorities than older ones. They want quality of life, function preservation, but also efficacy. So we try to include into the endpoints those priorities that they have. And finally, the third point is how to implement those new endpoints and clinical trial design in research, in academic research. Our proposal to overcome the barrier to participations in clinical trials for older adults are first to implement digital tools in clinical research through digital apps, for example, to track and monitor physical activity, but also to be able to collect PROs, so patients-reported outcomes, in real time. The second proposal was actually to do fully or partly decentralized clinical trial to reduce time toxicity for patients. The third point is actually to focus on caregiver needs, because with older adults we know that caregivers are key in order to, for older adults to participate. So we need to find ways, maybe from fundings. The fourth point is actually to discuss extra funding for the center and the team that is taking care of those older adults in clinical trials, because we know it costs more time and we want to reward that in a way. And the last part is actually to analyze the incidence to enrollment ratio, which is a tool that measures the percentage of patients aged over 70 actually enrolled in clinical trials to the percentage of older adults actually with this type of cancer. Our proposal for these patient populations are actually first to try to stratify the therapeutic approach according to frailty. The second proposal is actually to use observational arms or synthetic arms in the design of clinical trials. The third point is actually to focus and to implement new endpoints, such as time to deterioration or time to toxicity, and integrate quality of life. The fourth point is actually to use small and short geriatric assessment at the beginning of the trial using small data sets such as the G-code or the PGA. And finally, the last one would be to consider hierarchical endpoints that may be different from younger adults.